Hey guys, so I'm really sorry if you can hear the washing machine in the background because I'm doing loads of chores, sorting my life out now that it's the new year. I'm back with my December reading wrap up. This is really late, but I'm hoping to get it up on the same day I film it, so it's looking unlikely. So I read 5 books last month, 4 physical books, 1 Kindle book, and I'll start off with the Kindle book like I normally do because that's just easier that way. Right, oh, I actually sort of had it set up. So the only Kindle book that I read last month is The Flatshare by Beth Leary. I've had this, oh, I'm hoping there's not too much glare. I've had this recommended to me quite a few times. I've seen it all over Instagram. I think it was Waterstone's Book of the Year or Book of the Month towards the end of the year, and it really did live up to its expectations or my expectations of it. It basically follows the story of 2 people who end up sharing a flat together. Leon works in a care home, so he often works nights, so he basically has the flat between something like 8 AM and 6 PM. And that's it, and he stays with his girlfriend at weekends, and Tiffy has the flat from 6 PM to 8 AM, and then she has it at weekends as well. She's dealing with a really bad breakup from a very emotionally abusive ex who keeps coming back into her life and really trying to torment her, and Leon's dealing with a girlfriend who's not necessarily very supportive, and she kind of is always angry at him for not spending enough time with her when he's got a really important job. He works long shifts and he's always tired. And so basically we follow their stories. They alternate in chapters. Some are from Tiffy's point of view, some are from Leon's, and they only communicate through post-it notes that they end up sticking all over the flat. It was just a really nice, like, heartwarming, cute story. It's the kind of thing that I really love. I gave it 5 stars. It was probably maybe my favourite read of the month, maybe second favourite. I found this one quite hard to read because it really came across that the authors themselves, or one of them maybe, I'm not really sure, didn't really like teenagers. There was a lot of, I think I ended up posting a few pictures of what they'd said on Twitter, and it was, there were bits of text that were something like LOL or LMAO or something like that, and the text basically said, if I hear anybody say this ever again, I'm gonna have to smack them, I can't deal with it. And it was meant to be this like teenage kid that was really angry at the word lol, and it just, nobody's that mad. And also there was a lot of, I felt like, internalized homophobia within the main gay character. He was very much like, yeah, really kind of like hating himself, and it was really, his sexuality was expressed in a really negative way in my opinion. He wasn't comfortable with it as a person, which I understand a lot of people aren't, and it's a bit of a struggle, but I think it's not great to write a book for teens where the main character that's gay hates himself because he's gay. I just think that's a bit of a rubbish message. It was a really nice, kind of cosy, Christmassy read that was a bit thrilling. It was about a couple called the Wanderlusters on Instagram who basically travelled around the world showing off these really, really great holidays, and kind of their whole brand was going off the beaten track and showing people what it's like to kind of really live somewhere when they were actually just staying there. They would stay there for a couple of months and get to know the area. And they travelled with a man who was kind of like part photographer, part manager, part PA, who kind of supported them, and they obviously paid him, and he went on these mad holidays with them. So they end up going to Norway. Their names are Bo and Zach, and they kind of start drifting apart a bit. Bo realises that she doesn't want everything on show. It's in the lead up to Christmas, and there's a lot of tensions in their relationship, and she also finds herself a little bit kind of attracted to their tour guide. This was such a like nice read in the lead up to the big day, and I think next year I'm going to buy some more books by Swan and basically just binge read them through the whole of December. That's the plan. So next is All That She Can See by Carrie Hope Fletcher. This is the second book by her that I've read. I also read On the Other Side. Both are very kind of like magical, realistic. In this one, the main character is called Cherry, and she basically she can see these kind of like, in my opinion, like gremlins that attach themselves to people, and they're their negative emotions. So if you're somebody that's really anxious, you'll have a very anxious gremlin attached to you. And she can bake, and she basically goes town to town setting up these bakeries, and these negative feelings can't come into her bakery, so they stand outside. So when people come in, they feel like any of those negative feelings that they were experiencing have kind of been lifted. But it all goes wrong when she goes to Plymouth, and she meets somebody who's very, very antagonistic towards her, and he doesn't quite seem to have the same kind of effect from Cherry's baking as other people do. And it turns into actually quite a bit like of a kind of thrillery, dramery book where I thought it was going to be just quite kind of like chick litty. I think I gave this 4 stars, as well as the Christmas lights. I can't remember if I said that. And finally we've got The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is one of the prettiest books I've read all year, I think. The inside is really nice, and then on the inside front cover as well, it's this really kind of intricate design. This is one of my favourite books I read all year, and I'm going to be uploading my top 10 books from 2019 soon, so this will be in that as well. It's not what I was expecting at all, and I really loved it. It's basically a story all about a kind of world in which books are only there as memories that people wanted to erase. So if somebody's got a really traumatic memory of something that they did or something that happened to them, they go and see a binder and they tell them, or the binder kind of experiences the bad memory and puts it in the book. The person then can't remember whatever has kind of traumatized them, and the book is then stored safely. If the book is burnt or destroyed in some way, then the person gets their memory back. It obviously is, it sounds like a really great idea, or I thought so at first. Anything that's really, upset you, you can forget, but then the people that have been bound, they're slightly different. They come back and they're not quite whole, and there's something kind of missing. And obviously it can be exploited. So in the book there's lots of people who use it for their own gain. So they make people forget meeting people they loved, or they make people forget sexual assaults that they've committed against them, or crimes that have been, other crimes that have been committed against them. And it's manipulated by big powerful men with lots of money, as with everything. This has probably got some of the best LGBT representation I've seen in quite a while, especially in an adult book. I actually can't think of a book that's adult fiction that has a better representation of a gay relationship. I'm trying not to give too much away because it's quite a big part of the story, but it was really, really well done. It was really touching. I just really, really loved it. It becomes very tense because the main character's kind of trying to... the main character has been bound and he's got a memory that he can't remember. And so you're kind of going on this journey with him, trying to work out what he's forgotten and why and how it's impacting his life now. And yeah, it just gets very dramatic, and I obviously gave this 5 stars. So that's that. I'm really sorry if it feels very jumpy. My camera kept cutting out and I'm not really sure why, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon, probably with my top 10 books for last year. Fingers crossed. Bye.